Greetings and welcome back to my Walk for Life. As you can tell, probably, I'm not walking this time. I found over the last couple of days that taking a powered treadmill and trying to run it just with leg power is more of a challenge than I'm up to right now. And while I can do it, okay, let's face it, a minute and a half, 2 minutes at a time is not enough to do any good. So what I've done is gotten out an old, and I do mean very old, stationary bike. I don't know how old it is, but it's got a Sears name on it. And judging from the condition of the paint job, this thing could be 30, 40 years old. I have no idea. But it works, and that's the important part. And with this, I'm actually able to do 20-minute sessions of constant activity. Pushing it just a little bit towards the end of the 20 minutes, but I'm getting there. So I figure what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep up with the bike for the time being. Use that to build some endurance and start the weight coming up. Speaking of the weight, I was at the doctor's office again just yesterday, and that turns out to be a month after the last time I went. Now, the last time I went, like I said before, I weighed in at 330 pounds. Yesterday, I weighed in at 341. This is serious movement in the wrong direction, an 11-pound gain in 1 month. Now, another 9 pounds and that scale isn't going to do any good. So I need to not only not gain that 9 pounds, I need to lose back the 11 I've regained. And just in case anybody's wanting to know, my personal record for the most weight I've ever carried around at once is 348 pounds. I'm definitely going to be getting rid of this weight one way or the other. And like I said, these sessions on the stationary bike are easier to do in that I can do it without getting quite so worn out quite so quickly. It lets me get in 20 or 30 minutes of constant, steady activity that is, I'm quite sure, going to do me a whole lot more good than a minute and a half at a time on a treadmill. When I get into better shape and have more endurance, the treadmill, well, it's still sitting there. It isn't going anywhere. Another old bike. Like I said before, I don't know when this thing was made, but it's at least 30 or 40 years old. It's got a Sears name tag on it and a speedometer that shows in miles per hour, and it also has an odometer. From what I can see of the speedometer, I'm doing roughly about 12 miles per hour at a fairly steady pace, which is on an actual real bike on a level surface would be a reasonable cruising speed, a reasonable slow cruising speed. But given me and my current condition, 12 miles an hour isn't bad. It's a speed that I can keep up for 20, sometimes 30 minutes if I push it just a little bit harder. And I'm going to get some results. just out of curiosity, what's the oldest or oddest bit of exercise equipment that you have ever used? There's the nameplate on the bike and its speedometer. You'll notice that when it's not moving, it freezes at 4 miles an hour, and when it's going, it's bouncing around right about 15, so that's where I get the 11 to 12 mile an hour estimate. This is a very old bike. By the way, that rag is on there to keep the speedometer cable from rubbing against the wheel. Very old model of bike. If anybody knows when this thing was built, when it would be new in the stores, let me know, and I'll be sure to mention you and give you a link. That's all for this episode. Keep losing that weight.